Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation for today is Gaudi Cheti Mahalla Pehla. Mundhra te Ghat Bhitar Mundhra, Kaya kije khintata, Panch chele vas kije raval, Eho man kije dandata, जोग जुगत इव पावस्ता, एक शब्द दूजा होर नासत, कंद मूल मन लावसता। रहाओ। मुंडे मुंडाए जे गुर पाइय, हम गुर कीनी गंगाता, त्रिभुवन तारण हार स्वामी एक, न चेतस अंदाता, करे पटंब गल्ली मन लावस, संसा मूल न जावसता, एक सचरणी जे चित लावें, लब लोभ की तावसता, जपस निरंजन रचस मना, काहे बोले जोगी कपट घना। रहाओ। काया कमली हंस इयाणा, मेरी मेरी करत बिहाणीता, प्रणवत नानक नागी ढाजै, फिर पाछै पछोताणीता. So this passage is making some very explicit references to the symbols and practices of the Nath yogis, which was a conglomerate inspired by Guru Gorakhnath. And so it is important to understand that Guru Nanak had frequent and very lively conversations with the Nath yogis. In fact, the Siddh Gosht is one such example of an extended contact with them. And the yogis were interested in a lifestyle which is also referred to as jugat, the method. How shall we live our lives? The yogi's lifestyle, or jukti, was characterized by detachment from the world. It was ascetic in nature and stressed individual salvation. And they went about with a begging bowl, a bag slung over their shoulder, wore large earrings that Guru Nanak refers to here, and a patched coat that he talks about, and a staff in one hand. So Guruji is using the Nath Panthis as a backdrop to reiterate instead the inner qualities or virtues that we have to cultivate. And by stressing these inner virtues over external pieties, Guru Nanak makes a fundamental shift from prevailing practices. So let's consider these verses verse by verse. Mundhra te Ghat Bhitar Mundhra kaya kije khintata. Wear the earrings of contentment. Mundhra, earrings. Te Ghat Bhitar, wear the inner earring of contentment, and rein in the 5 disciple senses. Panch chele vas kije. Make the body essence your patched coat. Kaya kije khintata. And, O yogi, Raval, make the mind your staff, the stick that you carry. So kaya literally means the body, but it also it actually means that which houses the human essence. So therefore it suggests an existence that is more than simply the body. It also is the psychic center of a human being. So it also connotes the intellect. And then the word panch is used variously. Panchachele Vasakije. In Gurbani, It is used to signify a quality of excellence, as in Panch Parvan, Panch Pradhan. It is also used as an allomorph of five, used to describe a mixture of five kinds, or an extension. So here it is pointing to the extensions, the five senses, which are extensions of the self, engaging with the world, organs of perception. So those have to be restrained, controlled. And in the first reflection, there are two rahaus in this passage. In the first, he's saying, Jog Jugat iv pavasta ek sabad duja hor nasat kand mool man lavasta. Jog Jugat iv pavasta. This is how the method of yoga is practiced. And what is that method? How do you do it? Guruji says, understand that the Creator's Sabad is eternal. a-sabad, eternal. Duja hor nasat. Nasat, naswan, subject to decay and death, and therefore fleeting. The Creator's Sabad is eternal, and the world is fleeting. This is the truth of yoga, to understand this, to grasp this. And then he says, make this food for thought. Kanda mool mana lavasta. Kand refers to the fruit that grows from trees. Mool is the roots that grow from the earth. And in the Siddh Ghost, just for information, the yogis in fact tell Guru Nanak that we live on Kandamool. We are just surviving by eating the fruits off of trees and the roots off of the ground. What he is saying is, you need to internalize this. You don't need to go out into the forests. Your mind should be eating the fruit, if you will, of the self and controlling the mind. So that should be your food, spiritual knowledge. And then, of course, to another practice, that of shaving the head that the yogis, some sects of the yogis had, to signify the giving up of worldly possessions, or also to giving up the sense of the self. And this was usually something that was done on the banks of the Ganges. So the Guru is saying, Munda mundaye je gur paiya, ham gur kini gangata. If, by shaving the head on the banks of the Ganga, Gur wisdom can be achieved. Here Gur is used as the principle of Gurmat, wisdom. Je Gur Paiye. If one could actually acquire Gur wisdom simply by shaving the head, then by that reckoning, multitudes should have attained it. And then the Guru goes on to add, Ham Gur Kini Gangata. My Ganga, or my pilgrimage to the Ganga, is Guru wisdom, the enlightener. And then he says, this is something that the blind does not remember or see, that the emancipator of the world, the Tribhavanataran Ahar, is the one. So this is all about internalization and external practices. And Guru Nanak is not done yet. He says, Kare patamb galni manalavas, sansa mulle na javasta. Kare patamb, by self-deception, galni manalavas, and mere talking. Just talk is self-deception, actually. Sansa mulle na javasta. The self-doubt, the anxiety, the misgivings that we have cannot be removed. The mind will remain forever anxious. How is that done? How is the anxiety relieved? Ek sacharani je chit lave, lab lob ki dhavasata. So that anxiety ceases only when the mind finds refuge in the self, in Guru wisdom. It ceases to be driven by greed and possessiveness. So all of the anxiety and the doubts that we suffer from stem from the I being greedy and possessive. And then in the second Rahau, he says, Japas naranjana rachasamana kahe bola jogi kapat gana. Oh yogi, why do you engage in misleading talk? In other words, the yogi is deceiving himself, self-deception. Guru says, Japas niranjana rachasamana, shape your mind. Rachas comes from rachana, which means to shape, to compose, to construct. So shape your mind with the knowledge of the unsullied self, niranjan, one that is beyond the perception of the senses. So the mind has to develop the capacity to understand the self, to reach to that dimension of consciousness. Kaya kamali, hans iyanna, meri kart behanta. But here's the problem. The problem is that Kaya Kamali, the body, and the uninformed mind, Hans Iyana Hans, the uninformed mind, ignorant mind, have come together and killed their time or passed their time in egocentric actions. Meri karta behantya. Meri karta behantya. I am. This is mine. I possess this. I have done this. It is all this I talk that an uninformed mind and the body engage in. But what happens to such an ignorant mind and an uninformed mind and body is that in the end, the body is stripped naked and set to flames, and then the mind regrets. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.